Hey YouTube, it's John McCann, it's Matt Swider. We're here live at the Samsung Galaxy S7 event. We've got the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the iPhone 6s. It's going to be the biggest battle of mobiles this year. Who's going to win? Matt, what are we looking at?
I really like the iPhone 6s. Yes, it's about 6 months old. It's not the new phone. I know that's stylish, but I really like the design of this phone and the software, the operating system. Can you tell me about the design of your phone?
I can. So from first looks, it looks a lot like the S6, and yeah, it does. There's no getting around it. But Samsung have made some little tweaks. It is rounder on the corners, the button's slightly rounder, and the main differences though are on the back. The back now is curved at each edge, like the edge screen on the Samsung Galaxy S7 edge and the S6 edge. The back is also curved. That means it sits a lot nicer in your hands. It's a bit more comfortable, and it just feels nicer.
I really need a case for the iPhone 6s. I feel like it slips out of my hands a lot if I don't have a case on it. So the rounded edges, it doesn't really agree with me. So I really like holding that phone a little bit better. But you know, this phone, it has that premium aluminum on there, and that's really nice, but you do need a case.
The S6 had quite an ugly camera bulge. They flattened it down quite a lot now. It's only less than a millimeter thick now.
There's definitely a camera bulge on this one, on the 6S, but hopefully for the iPhone 7, that Apple may eliminate that. That's the big rumor. And you know, right now though, both phones have a little bit of camera bulge.
And you might see from the video here that this is pretty much a fingerprint magnet, isn't it, Matt? I've just cleaned this and it's already covered again.
When it comes to the display, the resolution on the iPhone 6s isn't quite as nice as the Samsung Galaxy S7. However, it is a Retina HD display.
The new feature for S7 and S7 Edge is the always on display. You lock the phone, give it a second, and then at all times you'll have the clock, you'll have the date, you'll have notifications if you've got any new ones, always on the screen. It's nice if it's lying on your desk and you just want to glance over and see. It's not an essential feature, and we do worry about battery life. Samsung says it's going to sap maybe less than 1% per hour, but you add that up throughout a day and that's a decent chunk of your battery life gone. But going back to the resolution, and the Samsung's got the iPhone beat all ends up. It's got a QHD display, it's Samsung Super AMOLED technology, which means the colours really pop, it looks bright, it looks vibrant, it looks fantastic. Samsung Galaxy S7 is sporting Samsung's own Exynos octa-core processor and 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's a whole lot of power. How does that stack up to the iPhone, Matt?
Well, Apple has its own chip as well that it designed, the Apple A9 processor, and it has 2 gigs of RAM, which seems inferior, but it's running a different operating system, so that TouchWiz isn't on here and messing everything up. So I really like the interface, and you know, 2 gigs is good for this.
The Samsung Galaxy S7 actually has a 12 megapixel camera, but what Samsung has done is they've kept the sensor size the same, so the pixels are actually now bigger, which means they pull in a lot more light, which means this should be really good at low light photography.
Well, strangely enough, the Apple iPhone 6s has a 12 megapixel camera as well, but even testing it against the Samsung Galaxy S6 actually doesn't compare. The Samsung Galaxy S6 is a little bit better, and I really expect once we get the S7 out into the open street that it'll actually top the S6.
I mean, we're really excited about testing out this camera. It should be a really good performer. As Matt said, the S6 was one of the best camera phones on the market, so we're hoping Samsung's managed to top it with the S7, and we can't wait to try it out. The S7 is brought back expandable storage, something we didn't have on the S6. The S7's got it. You flick up to the top, you go to the SIM card slot, you put it out, it's double length. Space for your SIM, space for your micro SD. That's got to be a winner over the iPhone, Matt.
Well, you know what? Looking around the frame of the iPhone 6s, I don't see it. It has never been in an iPhone. You're stuck with 16, 64, and 128.
Yep.
And it's kind of sad because you're paying a lot for that space, and it's locked. It's internal. It's all you have. But you know what? The thing I do appreciate about this is, number one, the software, and also the ability to touch this phone at any corner with just one hand. It's a one-handed operation. It's super simple to use.
One thing we can't forget is the battery life of these two phones. Now, Samsung has upped the battery in the S7. It's rocking a 3000 milliamp battery. That's up on the 2550 of the S6. How does that compare to the 6S, Matt?
Well, the iPhone 6s has a 1715 milliamp battery life. Not as good.
Something else battery life is really good for is gaming. And Samsung has realised that and put on its game launcher on the S7. This is a really cool feature for anyone who loves a bit of mobile gaming. It puts a little floating button on your game where you can lock the navigation key so you don't accidentally hit back. You can turn off notifications so they don't drop down over the action, which can be really annoying.
Well, the iPhone 6s definitely has some game as well. It has a game center that some people use for keeping their scores, keeping track of their friends' scores. But what's really great about it is that developers tend to develop games for the iPhone first. So you'll have that exclusivity launch period. So I really like gaming on the iPhone, and also it's cross-compatible with my iPad, and I can play games on there a lot of times. Well, that's all from the Samsung Galaxy S7 event. I hope you enjoyed our comparison of the two phones. John, what do you think?
I think the S7's winner.
Okay, we'll see. The iPhone 7 is coming out, and we'll see what that does in a couple months. Stay tuned to TechRadar.com for more comparisons and reviews.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.